Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's been a while since I got my, let me get this right, since I got my July Bead Box from Deborah Beads, but I've finally got a couple of hours spare today to come back and have a play with what's in the box and see what I can do with it. This is, in case you didn't see it, this is what I made with the July kit box. It actually was meant to be a pendant necklace and a pair of earrings to match, but because I don't wear the earrings, I combined the earrings to make a slightly more elaborate pendant for my necklace, and I'm really happy with that. I love the Summery combination of the turquoise and the sparkly crystals and the brass findings. Now so that's the kit box where you get everything you need to make a specific item, although as I've done you can customise it. This is the bead box. It's confusing because they all say bead box on the front, but this one's actually the bead box. This is a monthly kit which costs £5 including post and packing to the UK. And I haven't been disappointed yet, I can tell you. So this is what I got. It's all a bit of a jumble because I've already opened it all up. But this is what I got in my July bead box. So there are no instructions, but there's a good mixture. You can see that the colour theme, these gorgeous turquoise and turquoise colours with brass findings has been carried on, antique brass. And then these are my favourite, these little almost like tiny marbles, little bits of red and green and goldy colours in there, and these have got the little flashes of yellowy gold as well. Kind of quite dragonfly, very summery I think. So what I'd like to do is make perhaps a bracelet and a couple more necklaces that I will stack together and wear all at once, boho style, with this necklace. This one was made, it was quite fun, I'd not tried this before. It was made, there's some beading wire running through this section, and then we used crimps to make a little loop on the end of the beading wire that was attached to the last link on the length of chain, so that it would make a nice neat join between the beading wire and the chain. That was quite clever. I'd not tried that before. You definitely learn something every time with these kits. Well, I do, because I'm very much a beginner. Right, so I think what I'm going to do now is go through and put everything out on my tray so that I can see what I've got. And these flocky trays are lovely because it stops the beads all rolling about everywhere, and you can see everything you've got and you can lay it out in these lovely grooves. So I'm going to lay them all out now and start having a bit of a think about what I'm going to make with this. I always end up throwing in a few bits already in my stash, so I'll put these out first and then I will show you what else I've got to add in. So this is some leather thonging. I think it's probably faux leather. Probably ought to check really in case I end up giving it to a vegan friend, although chances are I just want to keep it myself, so it's not going to be a problem. So it was the length of that. There are a couple of quite chunky cord ends to go with that. I think these are called fold over crimps actually, because you literally fold you put the thong inside it like that, oops, like that, and then fold the ends over. I hope you'll be able to see that, to hold it securely, and then there's a little eyelet there so you can attach your fastenings. I love this. This is the little focal bead. Oh, it's beautiful. It looks sort of, it's like a turquoise ceramic, but it's got this sort of weathered look to it, like almost rusty. Love that. One thing that occurs to me is that I don't think this thong will thread through any of the beads in the box, so the way to attach the little beads and focal points is going to be by putting them on jump rings, I guess, which will be which the thong will go through, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so let's start putting these out. So these were the glass kind of crackle crystal beads. I'm not sure what they're called. There are a couple of these smaller plain turquoise sort of crackly crystally beads as well. some head pins, or earring wires, a couple of lobster clasps. Put the earring wires there because I'm probably not going to use them. I'm going to put lobster clasps there with my fold over primps. And then I've also got, put them in there, these jump rings which are from my own stash, I think. I just threw them in there when I found them the other day. And I think these were salvaged jump rings, that's why they look a little bit bent. They were salvaged from broken up necklaces. I've got some more in here. Waste not, want not. There's some little brighter gold spacer beads that came with the kit box actually, but I just preferred the look of the antique brass ones that came with the bead box, so I've gone with them. There's this length of chain, which is exactly the same as the one from the kit box. Some more head pins. I think these are the ones that came with the earrings, should have been made into earrings. They're these little ones with the balls on the end. I really like those. Whereas what I'm more used to seeing is these with a flat head. Here's my gorgeous favourite marbly ones, and then I've got these small frosted glass. They're a nice contrast because they're not shiny. They've got like a frosted matte finish to them, which is quite nice. And there's these beautiful 5. I thought there were 6 of them before. Have I managed to lose one? Could have sworn there were 6 before. Anyway, very pretty, faceted, not quite round. They're sort of elliptical shape. Faceted glass beads, very twinkly in the light. Imagine that twinkling away by the light of a summer barbecue. Looks like the sun sparkling on the sea. Got my beading wire, I'll leave it in the pack for now. Beautiful, tiny, kind of watery blue colour seed beads. Now, where do I put them? In with those or in with these? In with those, I think. I might regret that later. In fact, I already do, but never mind. Now, so that's everything that came in the kit. To that, I've got a few things I might add in myself. These are actually, I think these were meant to be curtain rings. I can't be sure. But anyway, I thought they'd make excellent kind of connector rings, and they're in that sort of antique brass colour, so I'll keep them there. I had to pick out things. I want to keep the antique brass theme going. So I've got some smaller fold over crimps in there that might come in handy. These are larger fold over crimps, but not quite as large as the ones that came in the kit. So I might bring in some other bead. I've got other beading cord, so who knows what I might need. And then I've got these are odds and ends from broken necklaces that I've kind of salvaged, so any of these might come into play. I think these little twinkly ones would be nice. Sometimes when I get leftovers from the kits, they get thrown in here as well, so some of them could be from that. But yeah, some of those colours would go in really nicely, wouldn't they? I thought it might be handy to have some of these little end caps. They go round the beads like that, which I think gives it a whole different kind of look. I quite like that. Jump rings I've already mentioned, and then this is again odds and ends from broken up things and bits and bobs I've collected over the years. I think these were actually earrings back in the days when I used to wear earrings. Yeah, that was obviously a pair of earrings, wasn't it? That might be quite nice as a pendant. I like the idea of a key. I always like keys. Maybe a leaf. What do you know? So I might use one or more of these, or I might end up using none at all. Oh, look. Pretty. Got a little green stone, so that could work as well. Perhaps I might just pick out a few and put the rest out the way, because otherwise, if I put too much in front of myself, it all becomes too much. Right, So what I need to do now is have a bit of a play spacing things out on the board. I will dither about that for ages, so I'm not going to make you sit through that. I'm going to have a little play, turn the camera off, have a little play, and come back and show you roughly what my plan is. And then everything will change once I actually get started, but you know, it's always good to start with a plan. See you in a minute. Okay, I've had a good think, and I've got kind of a plan of where I want to go with this. I'm going to use these 4 head pins, not to make earrings, but to make little wire wrapped charms. So I've picked up 4 little clusters of beads there that I'm going to turn into 4 charms. 2 of them are going to go on this chain, along with a brass charm, and 2 of them are going to go on the thong. I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a minute, along with another brass charm, because I like things in clusters of 3s. My plan is that each of them will end up at a slightly different length, and they'll all sort of stack up together. I'd wear them all at the same time because I love to do that. That will still leave me plenty of beads left to make another necklace with all of these other beautiful, gorgeous beads on wire, and a bracelet which I'm going to do, instead of using the wire or the chain or the thong, I'm going to use something that wasn't in the kit, but I saved this from it was left over from a previous kit, and it's this. Hopefully you can make that out on the film. It's like a clear elastic beading thread. It's brilliant because you haven't got to fiddle around trying to do something up on your own wrist, which always drives me nuts. So the first thing is to make these little wire wrap charms. I like to do these every time because I think the more often I do them, the better I'm going to get at them. At the moment they still come out a bit rustic, but that's fine for the sort of boho style I'm going for. What I'm going to do with the thong, I've got this, you can see by the fact that there's still a little eye screw attached to it. This actually came from a picture hanging kit, but it's a little split ring. I think it'll work fine as a sort of connector ring. I'll show you what I mean. So I've taken that off, I'll save that for, it'll be useful for something. So if I fold my thong, this is a theory, this is just an idea, we'll soon get to see if it works or not. If I just fold my thong in half, get hold of the loop in the middle, put that through, put the ends back through the loop like that, and pull it, right. I can put my 2 fold over crimps that came in the kit on the ends and attach a lobster clasp to put it around the neck, and then from here I can dangle my little selection of charms using jump rings. So there were a few jump rings came in the kit, I think, but I've lost track because I know I chucked in a handful from my own stash. So, but I think there were some in with the bag of findings. I'm sure there were. They usually are anyway. So that's my plan. So I need 2 charms to go on there, and then I'll use one or other of these little brass charms to go with as a bit of a nice contrast. And then the chain, I'm just going to leave the length it is, and I shall have the charms on jump rings freely sliding up and down, and I'll just add the other lobster clasp to the end to put it around my neck. So that'll be quite a short one actually. So that's nice, I want them all different lengths. So let's do the charms first. For tools, for opening jump rings and things like that, for doing my wire wrapping, you need 2 pairs of pliers. You could use, so these are round nose pliers, you could use a pair of round nose pliers and a pair of flat nose pliers. I prefer to use 2 round nose pliers when I'm opening jump rings and wire wrapping and things, but I think you can make either work. When I'm closing jump rings or squashing crimps and things like that, I tend to use these flat smooth ones. And then I've also got a couple of different kinds of wire cutters. Right, enough waffling about that, let's make my first charm. Right, so I'm going to take a head pin And I'm going to have to turn this round, I think, so that the that's it, because otherwise I can't even see the holes in these seed beads. That's how bad my eyesight is these days. When I'm not filming, I wear a visor that's got an extra light and a magnifier in it, but when I'm filming it just doesn't, because I have to keep looking up to adjust the camera and things, and it keeps knocking the light, and I just can't be doing with it, so I have to manage with my naked eyes. Now let me see if I can bring the camera down a bit. So I've just put a little antique brass coloured glass seed bead, which came in the kit, on there. So this first charm's going to be pretty straightforward. I don't want too much more than this gorgeous star. I just love the star and I want it to be the star of the show. That's going to be it. And then I've got to do my little wire wrapping. Now, the Deborah Beads Facebook page, if you go on there, you can find a little video tutorial about doing this wire wrapping, which will show you much better than I can. But essentially, this is what you do, and I'm still practicing and hopefully getting better each time. So I've grabbed it there, no more than about 2 mils above that last bead, and then I'm bending it back. So I've now got this sort of, I know what this shape. So it's kind of not quite right angles. Then I'm going to take hold of this wire and pull it forward. It's very soft, so you can do it easily with your hand, and pull it over. So it now looks like this. And then I'm adjusting the grip, just loosening off my grip on all my pliers so that I can turn them back again. So I'm back in this sort of position. And now grab hold of the end of that wire and move it back. Like that. So I've now got, if you can see, a little loop. I hope you can see that. It's really hard to tell from here, but I think you can. Now I'm going to grab hold across that loop with my one pair of pliers, and now this is where the other pair of pliers comes in, because if you can see, I've got that little 2 mil gap that I left, and I want to wrap this remaining wire around and around to cover that gap. And then I'm just going to wrap this around. This really is not the neatest job, but it still looks quite cute, I think. So what I've got to do, oops, you can see there's a little end of wire left. I've got to just clip that off as close as I can, and it usually leaves a little sharp burr there. Let me just get a little bit closer. So if you get the flat nose pliers, you can just squeeze that. Oops. So I've just squeezed that so that I can no longer feel that sharp edge. You can see that is not perfect wire wrapping by any means, but it really doesn't matter because it still looks quite cute. And if you're going for the boho style like I usually do, it kind of adds to the effect. That's what I tell myself anyway. So that's my first little wire wrap charm ready to go. Next one, I'm going to do this little fellow. Now which way up? Yeah, I feel like I want the bigger one at the bottom. Be like a little Russian doll shape. So I'm using another little brass colour seed bead. Then my gorgeous marble bead. I think they're my favourites. I might do another seed bead. That's a bit longer because I need each charm to be a slightly different length. And then this is one of the ones I pulled out of my stash, which could be from a previous kit left over, or could be from a broken necklace. Shall I go one more seed bead? Yeah. So that's my little charm arrangement. I'm going to do the same thing again, just hold this about 2 mils above, bend it back, bend the wire over change the position of the pliers, take the wire back so that you've got the little loop, hold the pliers across the loop, grab the wire with the other set of pliers and wind it round that gap to fill that gap. There we go, and now I'm just going to cut. I'm going cross-eyed trying to see this now. Wait a minute, it's not cut the wrong piece. Done that before. Okay, so that leaves my sticky out bit, which I've got to squeeze in with my flat nose pliers. You have to be careful because sometimes what I've done is squeeze the wrong bit too hard and broken a glass bead. If I can't see it properly, I can feel it. There we go, so I can feel that that's not sticking out anymore, and there's my little finished charm. So that is number 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that with these other 2. And I will come back and see you when they're done. Right, so there's my last couple of wire wrap charms. They've come out, they look slightly different because the head pin I used, those 2 were a lot heavier weight than the others. And also because I wrapped the loop further up towards the handle of the pliers, so this part that you wrap it round is wider, so you get a wider loop. So that's my little wire wrap charms done. Now let's put some jump rings on them. Turn my beading tray around again. So which ones shall I think the leather one is probably going to be the one to put the star on. It's a bit like a little bottle, this one, doesn't it? A little perfume bottle or something. I think I'll go that one and that one and this one. And there, I quite like that. Right, so I need a little jump ring for each one. As I say, some of these jump rings I think came in the kit. Some were salvaged ones from my stash. So to open a jump ring, you use 2 pairs of pliers, grab either side of where the join is and twist them open like that. You don't ever open them out that way because you can break them. Whoops! So I've twisted it open like you can see there. I pop that through the little loop on top of my wire wrap charm, and then through, and then put the connector ring through it, and then close it up again. The only problem with using these like salvage jump rings is sometimes they are a little bit bent out of shape, but you know, doesn't mean we can't find a way to use them. So there we go, that's my first charm one. I quite like the look of that already. Okay, next one. Twist my jump ring open, put it through the wire wrap loop and thread it onto the connecting ring. Close up the jump ring again. So that's 2 on. Last one, I'm going to put this key. So I can't decide with the key whether to hang it like that. It looks like a little bunch of keys, doesn't it? Or whether to... So what I've done is twiddle it around so that the jump ring that's attached in the key charm is hidden in between the leather thongs, just so it hangs it a bit higher. I just think it sits better with those if I do that. This is the kind of thing I could take ages thinking about. My final decision is like that. So one sits sort of, the key sits sort of behind. Oh, the key sits sort of behind. I quite like that. But of course, if I change my mind, it's very easy to change it later on. So all I need to do now is make it so that I can fasten it around my neck. I'm just first going to cut these off so they're both the same length. I'm just going to put my cord inside the, so let me show you. There. So this is the fold over crimp, and you can see, hopefully, it's like a square that's only got 3 sides. It's like a flat C. So you just lay the cord inside a kind of cradle, and then you fold the sides over. And squish them. Squish the crimp like that, so it should hold it all nice and secure. So it's all flat now. And then you've got the little eyelet there. Ooh, you've got the little eyelet there. You can just put another jump ring through and attach a lobster clasp. So just do that to the other end. I want to get them both the same way round. Really isn't going to matter to anybody else but me, but the seam, basically the seam where they join is on this side of the leather, so I want that to be the same at both ends. I honestly don't think anyone is going to notice that, but it's the kind of thing that bugs me. And now I've got the old jump ring thing again. On one end I need a jump ring, which I'm going to put through that loop, and through the loop on a lobster clasp, and I'm going to close up the jump ring. That's my little arrangement at that end, and then at the other end all I need to do is put a jump ring, and then that will go through a thread onto the lobster clasp. I mean, I could just, do I need to put another jump ring? Shall we keep it simple? Because actually it could just go through this hole. Yes, let's do that. Yeah, I don't think I need to introduce another jump ring. I might change my mind, but at the moment that's what I'm going to do. So there we are. That's my first. Hello, I'm back again. Had to stop to pop down to the doctor's, but I'm all back and ready to finish off my bead box. So where are we so far? Here's my leather thong pendant, which I'm really pleased with. Then the other 2 wire wrap charms that I made, I added onto the chain. Just put jump rings on them, and I threw in that little antique brass charm that I had that says "Live, Laugh, Love," and they're just running loose on the chain on jump rings, which I quite like. This is the one from the kit box. I think those all go together quite nicely. I would quite happily wear those all at once. And what I've decided to do with this one, I found that I had a little go just now, and I found that this, although I wanted to use this elastic for the bracelet, it won't actually go through most of these beads. Well, it certainly won't go through the little seed beads, which I need it to. Probably go for these bigger ones, but so I changed my mind about that. I'm going to go with the wire that came in this month's bead box. I've thrown in a very small handful of things from my stash. So this big feature bead here was part of a broken up necklace, and so was this one, and I'm sure there were 3. This one. So those 3 I've thrown in just to make it a bit more interesting. And really sort of, I like that whole sort of quite eclectic thing. So I've arranged all of the remaining beads except for the seed beads. I've arranged into one long run, which I'm going to put onto this wire. And my hope is that I can make it so that I can either wear it as a necklace stacked together with these, or I can wrap it 2 or 3 times around my wrist and wear it like a stacked bracelet. also from my stash I threw in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 of these little small elliptical faceted glass beads, which I think might be left from a previous box. I can't remember where they came from, but they go really nicely. They're just like a smaller version of these ones that did come in this month's box, so I think that'd be nice. So yeah, and I'm hoping I'll be able to use up most of the seed beads there that came in the box as well. I'm going to need a couple more of my antique brass jump rings, and I'm also going to use the bead caps that I showed you already on these larger crackle beads, just because I just feel like that just will tone them down a little bit and just bring it all together in a way that appeals to me. Okay, so without further ado, what I've done here is I've just used a little mini bulldog clip and just clipped it to the end of my beading wire, so I don't have to worry about it falling off. Well, now it's all laid out on my tray, I've just got to follow this around, so it's quite therapeutic. Probably what I'd normally do is put something on my iPad to watch, or an audio book to listen to, or a podcast or something, and just chill. So I will speed through this and come back and show you when everything's threaded, and we'll see how it's looking. At that stage I might even change my mind and have to start again, but we'll see. See you in a minute. Okay, so I've decided I don't like this, and I think what I don't like is these small frosted beads. For some reason I'm just not feeling them, so they're coming out. Right, so I decided I just wasn't happy with it with these frosted beads in. I love the frosted beads, I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Just for me, they're not working with these. So in effect what I've done is swap them for these more turquoisey ones out of my stash. But that's fine, as long as I'm happy with what I end up with, that's fine. And I'm also thinking I'm going to try and only use the brass colour seed beads and save these beautiful watery blue beads for another project as well. So we'll see. Hopefully I've got enough. Oh, you know your eyes are getting old when you can't even see the hole in the bead, let alone get the thread through it. Okay, I'll have my little string done, and I think that is gorgeous. I love it. I love those colours. I won't quite go round 2 times, not comfortably. So I'm going to have to bring in some more of these to finish it off. So what I've done is I've extended the length by adding in 6 more of those little faceted beads from my stash, and I've interspersed them with blocks of 3 of the brass coloured seed beads that came in the kit. I've just noticed, oh look, I've missed the bead caps off of one of those. Is that going to bother me? Not enough to rethread the whole thing, probably. I still think I could probably wear this as a shorter necklace as well, and it might look nice in a stack with all the others. I'll try that later. So all of those jump rings and bead caps came from my stash anyway. All that I've got left from the actual kit is the frosted blue beads and some of the seed beads. Let's come back out again, which will go back into my stash for another time. And to finish this off, I need to just put some wire crimps on. Okay, so to add one of the, I want to make a loop. I want to finish off the end of this wire, fasten it securely and create a loop that I can put a jump ring through. So oh dear, I'm going cross-eyed just trying to see that. So I've got this little wire crimp. I've threaded that onto the end just after the beads, if you can see. And now I'm going to turn the wire around and put it back through the wire in the other direction. Like that. And then I'm going to wiggle and finagle until I get the loop as close as I possibly can. I want it nice and small and neat, just enough to get a jump ring through. And I want it as close to that end bead as I can possibly get it. And I think for me that's close enough. So once I know it's close enough, I then take my flat nose pliers and just give it a squeeze. And that flattens out that crimp so that it's holding the wire really securely and it can't come undone. And once I know that really is secure, I can just snip off that end. Okay. Ta-da! Very neat. And now I've just got to do the same to the other end. So now I've got a nice securely attached wire. And I can just put a jump ring through either end. So I'm going to stick with the brass colour. I need a lobster clasp. Well, would you, Adam and Eve, I haven't got. I'm going to use one of these instead. Okay, short little necklace. Oh, I do think that's pretty. I think it's really luscious colours. Short little necklace or doubled over, which is probably what I will do to wear as a bracelet. I think I still quite fancy incorporating this butterfly charm, and I think it would look quite nice if you were wearing it as a bracelet, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to do that. So let's see what I've got. There's the bracelet or necklace, wear that whichever way I like. There's the thong charm pendant and the chain pendant, and then so that's what I've made with the bead box, and I think they'll go really nicely with the pendant that I made with the kit box. So all I've got left is the frosted blue glass beads and some beautiful watery blue colour glass seed beads and just a handful of the gold spacer beads and brass coloured glass seed beads there. So those will all go into my stash and come in nicely for another project in the future. So I'm really pleased with that. I want to see now what will these look like if I wear them all together at the same time. I like that. I like them all together like that. So if I did wear this one as a necklace instead of a bracelet, it would look like that. Very happy with that. Very me this is. I love the colours. I love the, it's just really lush. That was July Bead Box and Kit Box from Deborah Beads. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it useful. I will leave links to Deborah Beads in the description box below in case you want to check them out. I will point out, as I always do, this isn't in any way sponsored. I just buy these boxes because I think they're brilliant and I'm very happy to share that on my YouTube. Okay, thanks very much for watching today and I will see you again really soon. Bye!